month, we are actually celebrating love. February, the month of love. We have a few traditions in religious science, not too many, but one is that we look at the basics of our science and mind teachings, and I usually do that in a different way, but in the month of January. And then February, come on, it is Valentine's Day in the middle of the month, so we look at love. Now, I know I often have folks who are not in relationship kind of moan and groan about, oh no, we're going to talk about love, and I'm not in a relationship, and that makes me feel bad, and I don't like it, and so I want you to know you're safe. You're safe. We're not going to be, not even next week are we going to be talking about romantic love. In fact, we're talking all month about the love of the divine and how that can operate in, through, and as our lives. And we're going to take, I love acronyms, so we're going to take the word love, L-O-V-E, and every single Sunday look at a letter and how that might relate. So, for example, today we're going to look at living in light and laughter, and how God's love can help us live in light and lightness and laughter. Next week, we're going to look at omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence. Oh, those are three big words, woo, that I learned in my Baptist upbringing. I learned about those words, but we're going to look at the all-pervading, all-present, all-knowing power of God's love and what that means for our lives. So that'll be next week. The following week, we're going to take God's love and have it empower our vision and our vitality. And then the last Sunday of the month, a little surprise for you the last Sunday, which I will not tell you now, because if I did, it then would not be a surprise. So it will be a surprise. The very last Sunday of the month, we're going to look at how God's love can bring us enlightened enthusiasm. So that's our L-O-V-E, living on the wings of love. So today is living in light, and I'm going to add in lightness and laughter. So, there was a guy. The moaning starts already. John braces himself at the back of the pew even. Oh, where is she going to go with this? So there's this man who lived in Arizona, grew up in Phoenix, wasn't a very nice guy at all. And so it came time for his earthly life to be complete. And when he died, he did not go there, but straight there. Now, it's a good thing we don't really believe in hell. I like that, so I can tell this story. We don't believe in hell, but for the purpose of the story, the illustration, we're going to use it. All right, so this man dies, goes to hell. And because he was, I said that with a lot of vigor, didn't I? And a little too much enthusiasm, but oops. Well, nonetheless, that is exactly what the devil did. He's like, woo, this guy, he was a bad guy. I'm glad to have him down here, and I'm going to make his life really miserable. So, first of all, I'm putting him on the rock detail, which means he's got to break up rock, put it in a wheelbarrow, and haul it off to someplace else, and then haul it back. That's his job. And to make him really miserable, not only is he going to do that, I'm going to crank the heat up even hotter than it normally is. And not only that, I'm going to throw in some humidity. I'm just going to make his life miserable. So he sends the guy off, and the guy's doing the work, and in about a week, the devil goes down just to see how he's doing. And the man has got his shirt off, and he's working up quite a sweat, but he's whistling a happy song as he's jackhammering and hammering the rocks and carrying them off. He's just happy and whistling, and the devil says, whoa, what's going on here? Why are you so happy? He says, oh, come on, I'm from Phoenix. This is just like August. It's easy. Now, the thing is, I'm not done. Maybe the scary thing is, I'm not done. All right, but I could use that. Thank you, Dave. We could use that along the way here. So the devil thinks, okay, well, this obviously isn't working. If the man likes this, and he thinks it's August at home, so he likes it. Let's do something else. Let's throw in some rain. Let's throw in some rain and some wind, and let's make it blustery and just really miserable. Does that, goes back a week later to see the guy who's, he's kind of covered up and he's slogging through the mud, pushing his wheelbarrow, but he's still whistling his happy song and he's happy as can be. The devil says, I don't get it. What up? He goes, this is just like April in Phoenix. I feel like I'm planting my garden out there. It's no big deal at all. I like it. It just reminds me of home. Well, the devil is now very frustrated. He's supposed to be giving this guy a horrible experience, not a good experience. So he thinks, I know what I'll do. I will take those temperatures down sub-zero. I'm going to bring in an ice storm. I'm going to make him freeze. So that's what he does. Goes back a week later, and the guy is not whistling a happy song. He's not doing his work. He is doing the happy dance, like, hallelujah, thank you, God. And he is all over the place with joy. The devil thinks, all right, I just am perplexed now. I so don't get it. What's going on? He goes, you don't know, hell has frozen over. This could only mean one thing. One thing. The Cardinals have won the Super Bowl. That is my nod to what's happening today, by the way. I am acknowledging that there is a Super Bowl today. And I thank you for being here. Even though, there are lots of parties and happenings and things. Thank you for being here. Somebody earlier said, this is my Super Bowl. Coming here today is my Super Bowl. I like that. I like that. Right? So that was my nod to the Super Bowl. And my nod, and I actually think I accomplished this objective, which was to make you laugh. I wanted to bring some laughter into the beginning of this service because that is what we're going to talk about. Living in lightness and laughter, and taking that lightness and laughter into a place that might feel heavy or dark, either in our own lives or in the lives of someone we love or in our world. So I want to give you the premise for today. And I'm going to read it because I wrote it, but I like it, and I want to say it exactly. So I'm quoting Reverend Michelle in her book. Let's give it a name. I don't know, right? There it is. All right. Humor and lightness are gifts of God's love. Our ability to laugh in the midst of challenging circumstances and have a light touch on life are indicators of how much we are living into and from this love. That was so good, I just have to hear it again. So here it is. I really want you to get this. Humor and lightness are gifts of God's love. Our ability to laugh in the midst of challenging circumstances and have a light touch on life are indicators of how much we are living into and from this love. So, as I said, I want us to shine some light and lightness and laughter into a place that may be a little challenging, a little dark, a little sad, wherever that might be. And if you have no place that you can think of, hallelujah, that's fantastic. You can support others in doing that. So we're going to do that in a little bit, but I have a couple things to say before that. So are you ready to go? Yeah. Yes. Yay team. Yay team. There we go. Go team CLF, right? There it is. So there's a line from a song by Leonard Cohen that I want to really set the stage for our time together today. And it goes like this. Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. Now, if I were writing that, I would make a slight adjustment. Because that is what I do. Because that's what I do to everything in my own writing, including. I'll write something, and then a week later go, oh, no, that's not that. So, but I would make a slight change to that. And I'm going to give you a story which will indicate the slight change. And this is not a story that requires bada-ding, bada-doing. It's a true story. It's a story of a young man, healthy, vibrant, in his early 20s probably. Don't know exactly how old he was. I heard this story on the radio and tucked it away for future use because I was so moved by it. So this young man got cancer in his leg. And the medical community did everything that they could do to try to eradicate this cancer from his body, and it wasn't going to go away. So that the only thing left to do to save his life was to amputate his leg. And that is what they did. But this caused a huge emotional challenge for him. In fact, he went through a very, very dark night of his soul. He thought that he was no longer who he was. He was no longer able to do the things he had done. He was no longer worthwhile. He was no longer. That is how he felt. But when he recovered enough in the hospital to go to physical rehab, they sent him to a rehabilitation facility where he stayed for quite some time while he was physically rehabbing. But they did more than physical rehab. They did emotional and mental rehab there as well. And one of the pieces in that was therapy, including art therapy. So he went to art therapy while he also worked in physical therapy. And one of the things he did in art therapy was to draw and paint. And so he one day, early on in his therapy, drew how he was feeling about himself. And he drew a vase, painted a picture of a vase that had a big crack in it. And that is exactly how he felt. He felt broken. He felt cracked. He felt no longer able to do what he came into this world to do. Just like a vase that has a crack in it can't hold the water to put the flowers in it. So this is how he felt. But over time, through work, and I'm guessing there had to be some spiritual work done in there as well, he healed. He healed physically, he healed emotionally, and he went on to have a happy life. And he decided one day that he wanted to support others who were going through what he went through. And he got such good care, both physically and emotionally, at the facility where he was, the rehab facility. He decided to go back there and just be a friend, someone who's been there, done that to people who are going through similar things. So that's what he did. And one day, when he was there, he was just called to a particular room. He was just drawn by the vibration, the energy of the room. And so he went into the room. And he could tell when he walked in, just the feeling in the room was of sadness and was of despondency, and that the person in that room had just given up. He could tell. And then he could tell because it was a woman lying in the bed, but she had her head turned to the wall. And even though he walked in and made noise, she didn't move. She didn't turn her head. She didn't say anything. Nothing. There was no response. So he sat down by her bed and he tried to engage her in conversation. Nothing. Wouldn't talk. He sat there for a while and was about to leave, but then he got an idea. And he thought, well, this is going to be a risk, but I have to do something here. And so he turned the radio on in the room, turned it to some jazzy station. I love today, and that was really beautiful music today. You're going to hear something else beautiful later, but it was jazzy, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. Pam and I have had conversations. Yes, it was very, very good. I really liked it a lot. And thank you, Sonar, for bringing that to us. So anyway, he turned the radio on. He turned it up loud. He took off his prosthetic leg, and he started jumping around and dancing and laughing and being as crazy as he could be. And all of a sudden, there was some stirring in the bed, and the woman's head turned. And finally turned all the way, and she looked at him. And at first with kind of, what in the world is this guy doing? And then a little bit of a smile came. And then she said, well, I suppose if you can dance, I can sing. And so she started to sing. And that was the turning point. Remember last month we were talking about turning points. That was the turning point for her and for her healing and for her being restored to a full, vibrant life. And it was actually the moment that eventually led, and I promise not to talk romance, but okay, here's a tiny bit. And you can probably see where this was going to go, that it led to a walk down the aisle, and the two of them eventually, a couple of years later, got married. Now that's a very sweet ending to the story, except it's not the end. And it's actually not the full point of the story. The full point of the story is that same day that young man came to that facility where he met his future wife for the first time, he also went in to see the art therapist that had helped him so much. And she had kept all of his work, and he asked to see it. So he's looking through some of his paintings, and he sees this painting of the vase with the crack in it that he had painted early on in his recovery. And in that moment, he had an aha. The light went on, the light bulb went on, and he said, wait a minute, this painting is not complete. He grabbed a yellow marker, and with that, he started breaking strokes out of that crack. He said, that's the light coming through the crack. Now this painting is complete. Because he knew in that moment that there was light in him. In fact, he knew that if he had not gone through that experience that he went through, he would not have become the person he was right then, which was a person he really liked. That experience, that crack in his life is what gave him an opening to express more of his light. So that statement, that those lyrics, ring the bells that still can ring, forget your perfect offering. There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. I would change that to say that's how the light gets out. That's how the light gets out. When we realize that there's a light inside us in the first place, and it's planted there in everyone, by the love of the divine, then we can lighten up about life. When we realize that we can let go of being perfect in this outer world and have perfect offerings, how many of us so look at our faults? We look at our faults, we focus on our faults, and then we feel heavy and sad about them. But if we can look at them as actually ways in which the light can shine even more, because perhaps that imperfection, quote unquote, that mistake we made, whatever it might be, is something that's going to take us to a higher level. And because we're made from and out of divine love, that is exactly what will happen. Then we can bring a lightness to everything. I hadn't planned to share this, but in first service I got a divine upload, so I'll just give you this little quick experience of mine on how we can so focus on what's wrong in us. I mean, does anybody else know somebody who does that? Like you focus on what's wrong, not on all the amazing things that are so right and so good about us. We focus on that one little thing. So I taught the very first practitioner class. We were trying to figure out the date. It was 98 or maybe a little later than that. I'm not sure, but it was a long time ago. I hadn't been a minister very long. But we had run classes through. We'd started with foundations, and we'd run enough classes that we now had a class of people who wanted to go in the first level of practitioner. Lonnie, my husband, my beloved husband right here, was one of those, and there were 10, I think, or so in that class. So I had not gone through the traditional route of becoming a religious science minister. I kind of did something quite unusual. I'll tell you that full story some other time for those who don't know it. But one of the pieces of that is that I did not become a religious science practitioner. Now we call them spiritual life coaches. But I did not become a practitioner before I became a religious science minister. That was a very unique way of doing it. And so when we were going to teach this first practitioner class, I thought, boy, I should take it, because I haven't had this experience. So I co-taught it with a seasoned practitioner, and I took it and taught it at the same time. But I was teaching it. So here we have the evaluations. This is a long 30-week class, so this may have been a midterm evaluation. I don't remember when it was. But here are 10 students, all right? 10 students, 9 of whom say wonderful things about me. They love the class, they love this. I honestly don't remember what they said. I don't remember what they said. But I remember verbatim one review. Lonnie's sitting here going, he said I shouldn't have done it. Funny. It said, and I can quote, however many years later this is, I can quote, I thought she would have known more. Oh my goodness. You would have stuck me with a knife in my gut when I got that. But it's interesting. So I'm telling you this for 2 reasons. Number one, interesting that I still remember that. How many years later, that still comes up in my mind. I thought she would have known more. So that's what I focused on. Not all those other, she did this right and she did that right and this was good and that was, no, she should have, I thought she would have known more. So please, let's let go of that. Let's let go of that perfectionism. And that comment was an impetus for me to say, you know what, Michelle, you're a brand new minister. You were never a practitioner. But if you're going to teach advanced classes like this, you best know more. You best deepen yourself. You must expand your knowledge, your spiritual knowledge, and your spiritual depth. You need to do that. And I did. And I'm still doing that. Many years later, we're never done with that. I'm still doing that. But that comment was probably the most valuable comment I got, because it spurred me on to do something more, to go deeper. So let us forget bringing a perfect offering. but instead know that the love of the divine that is in us, and that intelligence and that wisdom, and that is the light that's in us, wants to shine through everything we're doing, and let that crack that we may see in ourselves be an opening to shine more light and love. And I love how the light is now starting to come through. And Barbara, it's like right on you, isn't it? Like this row, you guys are, da-da! Huzzah! The light is here. I love it. I love it. Modern fiction writer Jodi Picoult, I've read a number of her books, but I love it when someone like that says something spiritually profound. And she wrote, you know what, there's always going to be bad stuff out there. But here's the amazing thing. Light triumphs darkness every time. You can stick a candle into the dark, but you can't stick the dark into a candle. Think about that. There really is no such thing as darkness. There is such thing as light. Light can be measured. Science can measure light. You can't measure darkness. You can go into a room and light a candle, and there is the light. You cannot light a darkness candle. Or I guess we would say you cannot dark a darkness candle, right? You flip on a light switch in a room, it gets rid of the dark. You don't switch on a dark switch, which gets rid of the light. Darkness does not really exist. It's the light. Jesus, the master teacher, said, "Ye are the light of the world. So shine your light that others will see it, and that you will be a healing presence in the world." When we know we are light, we can then show up in the world in lightness and in laughter. And we can bring that to whatever might be going on. And we're going to do that in just a couple of minutes. We can bring that to whatever is going on. And know that we bring a healing, a transformation, because we are experiencing and expressing the love of God through us and in us and as us. Walter Starkey, who is a wonderful teacher, writer, author, modern day mystic, made his transition maybe 5 years ago or so, wrote many, many books. One of them was called Homesick for Heaven. And he was very much a student of Joel Goldsmith. Many of you are students of Joel Goldsmith, an amazing teacher, a contemporary of Ernest Holmes. And in Homesick for Heaven, Starkey is quoting or paraphrasing some things, some ideas from Joel Goldsmith. And I want to share them with you because they're just so beautiful. Quote unquote, "I am the light of the world and ever will be. And if you accept this teaching, you will shine as the noonday sun pours in which there is no darkness at all. I am the light of the world, will not permit questions of why or wherefore. It accepts itself as the full radiance of the risen sun. I am the light, seeks not for light, for health, for wealth, for success, progress, but it knows that which it is seeking, which is the I am. Sing within yourself, morning, noon, and night, I am the life, the truth, the light. Let a song of joy and grateful recognition surge through your being, and know that the divine being is your only being. This being is all-inclusive life, love, substance, law, and reality. Ye are the light of the world. As you rest in this consciousness, you will no longer find it necessary to overcome evil, destroy error, battle mortal mind. In and as the light, the darkness vanishes. In and as the light, the darkness vanishes." So hands right here. I am the light. I am the light. Again. I am the light. Hands up. I am the light. One more. I am the light. So just feel that for a moment. Yes, good, nice, beautiful. I want you to squeeze your hands together because this is a moment to remember. Just squeeze your hands. We're going to do a little physical thing to remember this, to put this in our body, this knowing that I am the light. All right, you can release. So we're going to take that energy, that feeling, just a moment, with some lightness, take it to where we need to take it. But I want to do two more things before that. want to share with you just an idea, a thought, a possibility, and then a couple of images for which I thank Susan Peacock, sitting right there, that will, I think, bring smiles to your faces. So the first is the story of the lightning bug. Yes, you heard me right, the lightning bug. I received this a while ago, and I've, again, been saving it to share with you. What is the deal with lightning bugs? Here is this rather ordinary-looking flying insect, but wait, it has a glow-in-the-dark rear end. What was God thinking? Now, do you all know what a lightning bug is? I mean, we don't have them in Arizona. I didn't see a lightning bug until I was probably 12, and we visited Cincinnati, and where my aunt and uncle lived, and for the first time ever, I saw them, and they're amazing, but you all know what they are, right? Okay, good. Yes, yeah, you put them in jars with holes in them so they can breathe. All right. So, science surely has all kinds of explanations about how this fluorescent fanny is useful for mating and other stuff. But what if, when God was creating all the animals and everything around us, God came up with the idea of lightning bugs simply because God knew we would love it? We know that God loves us enough to create all the things we need to survive. But could it be that he or she loves us so much that she created some things just for us to enjoy? Yes. Perhaps lightning bugs have a purpose after all. They are a reminder of a creative God who loves us so much, he'd even light up the rear end of a bug just to make us smile. So I want to show you a couple of other things that just might make you smile. You guys, oh, I like that. Oh my. Gotta have your friends around you, right? So let us take that, if you will, close your eyes. And let us take that energy that you felt a few moments ago that you anchored in by squeezing your hands, that energy of I am the light, and this place of softness and joy, laughter that you have just experienced. And know that these are gifts of the divine. They are gifts of divine love. And just in case you're not sure, I want to give you a message from God. It came in the form of a note from the universe. So this is God speaking to you. No matter what your faith is or is not, no matter where in the world you are, I, God, want you to know, even as you hear these words, that I am with you. Behind the eyes of every child, in the melody of every song, I'm the glimmer in the ice crystals, the rays in the sun, and the stars at night. And with each smile you see, every hug you receive, and every laugh you hear, I am there, reaching out with blessings and good wishes. And all of this simply because I love you. Because I've always loved you. And because I always will. This has been true and will be true every day of your life. So in this moment, in this energy, in this space, if there is anything going on in your world or in the world of someone you love or something that has troubled your heart in our world at large, simply identify it right now. That's all you have to do is just identify it. And then take this blanket of love and lightness and laughter and wrap that thing, that issue, that concern with it, so that you can't see that concern anymore. It is wrapped in a blanket of light, a blanket of joy, a blanket of God's love. And in this wrapping of this challenge, we know that what is going on now inside that blanket is a transmutation, a reconfiguration, a melting down of the what does not serve, and a rebirth of the pattern of perfection that is the divine, that lives at the center of whatever that was. So we accept that as what is happening right now inside that blanket of love and lightness and laughter. We trust that that is so. We don't open the blanket to even look at it. We simply trust and know that God's love, God's light, and the laughter of the divine has healed, has made whole. And we are so grateful for that. In fact, it brings a smile to our faces. So in gratitude, enjoy, and with a smile, we call it good and know it's done. And together we say, and so it is. Amen.